December 4th, 2016 was an average cloudy Sunday in Washington, D.C. At roughly 3 p.m., Edgar Madison Welch arrived at the corner of Connecticut and Nebraska Avenues about 5 miles northwest of the White House. He got out of his car and stretched his legs after the 5.5-hour drive from his home in Salisbury, North Carolina. Welch methodically assembled the AR-15 rifle sitting on his back seat and took a deep breath. For more than a month, he had been obsessively poring over the details of the secret child sex trafficking ring he was about to uncover. The deluge of daily information dumps and mounting piles of paper evidence all pointed in one direction. Someone needed to put up or shut up. Someone needed to rescue these kids. Edgar Madison Welch turned off his safety and decided to be that someone. He flung open the door and marched inside Comet Ping Pong. Employees, children, and terrified parents dropped their pizza and fled the building. Shots rang out, Pizzagate made headlines around the world, and doing your own research suddenly became an issue with major real-world complications. Luckily, nobody was hurt at Comet Ping Pong. Edgar Welch shot open a locked closet and found it full of mop buckets and pizza supplies. No kids, thankfully. He immediately surrendered to police, saying the intel on this wasn't 100%. But the moment was important. The Pizzagate incident marked the beginning of the broader conspiracy movement that we now know as QAnon. And QAnon adherents often repeat a simple mantra: do your own research, which clearly was a motivating principle for Mr. Welch. Fundamentally, this feels like an empowering phrase. It cuts to the core of American values like liberty, self-reliance, and information freedom. And on its surface, this phrase also dovetails nicely with the rising tide of experts demanding that citizens adhere to more thoughtful diets instead of lazily reposting shocking headlines for articles they never even bothered to read. But after this point, the path towards truth gets pretty muddy, and it all hinges on that one word: research. Conspiracy research and scholarly research can appear indistinguishable to the untrained eye. The first step in these processes is essentially identical: curiosity. This is that noble stage of investigation from crime shows full of aha moments, lots of yarn, and pushpins. British journalist and conspiracy critic James Meek sums up the phenomenon poetically as an endless tease, always promising a new layer of revelation or a new angle. And the allure is intoxicating. Who hasn't smiled when they hear an outlandish conspiracy proposed? But the conspiracist is essentially addicted to this rush, and a feedback loop develops because it just feels so damn good to absorb these nuggets of wisdom. Beyond this wall of connections, there is a tedious mountain of rigor and testing that is the bedrock of modern scholarly research, a process that has itself been debated and argued and refined over the past millennium. But once that research is published, it spends years in front of the firing squad of other researchers who are determined to punch holes in methodology and logic. Many of the obvious truths we accept in daily life went through decades of scholarly scrutiny before the average person even knew they existed. Any true scientist knows that doing your own research is essentially a paradox. Truth and research are communal activities. They are not capsules of knowledge dropped from the sky, left to be deciphered by faithful adherents. So what does this mean for the casually curious? How does the average person distinguish between the scholar and the conspiracist? There is actually a profession that has long served as the gateway between scholar and everyman. That is the humble librarian. In 2004, a frustrated university librarian in California named Sarah Blakesley published an essay about an acronym she had started using when explaining research procedures to students. The CRAP test quickly traveled through American university networks and is now a popular learning tool in the fight against poorly sourced research. The lighthearted toilet humor pun is easy to remember and easy to explain. Is the information current? Is it relevant? Is this source an authority on the subject? Is this information accurate according to other reputable sources? And what is the purpose of this publication? When applied rigorously, the CRAP system can quickly flush out a lot of misinformation. The rapid rise of the internet has democratized information in many positive ways. Actual real-time information about major health breakthroughs, educational materials, and community empowerment efforts are just a click away. But many people have confused the ability to discover information with the ability to understand information. The people we rely upon to generate verifiable information and communicate its meaning are highly trained professionals who have devoted entire lifetimes to the cause. Many PhD scientists and investigative reporters will spend decades poring over obscure data sets with the sole purpose of adding to the academic conversation and helping the public understand their findings. All expertise is valid, but not in all contexts. But knowing who, what, and when to trust a source is the definition of modern wisdom. It's also the way to avoid the ever-present threat of stepping in crap.